Today is a very special day in the life of the church and really the world. And we celebrate the literal beginning of Christ's journey to the cross. It's Maundy Thursday. When I was growing up, I called it Monday Thursday. And I thought to myself, that's Monday Thursday? It doesn't make any sense. Well, the older I got, I realized it was Maundy Thursday, and I was still confused. What is Maundy? Maundy Thursday? M-A-U-N-D-Y. Well, that comes from the Latin word mandatum, which means a commandment, to command. And that's where we get that word mandate, which is a word we hear a lot. Mandate. We have a mandate to do this or a mandate to do that. Well, it's Passover, and Jesus is celebrating Passover as a faithful Jewish follower, and he's doing that with his disciples in the upper room. And so he prepares by washing their feet, which you've heard stories about washing feet. Back in those days, they wore sandals, and it wasn't as clean as it was. They didn't have beautiful paved roads, all right? So their feet got very, very dirty. And so there was somebody at the house usually that would take care of washing the guests' feet as they came in. Well, nobody did that. They'd lived with each other for 3.5 years, They were all friends. I don't know the dynamic, but nobody washed anybody's feet. They didn't even wash their own feet. So Jesus took it upon himself to wash the disciples' feet. Of course, that was probably pretty awkward. I don't know if you've ever been a part of a foot washing service, but it can be a little weird. I can imagine how they felt. Jesus, this person that they lived with, and they've seen all these miraculous things, and they've heard powerful teaching, and he is bending down, kneeling down before them and washing their feet. Of course, Peter, he said, "No, you're not washing my feet." And Jesus said, "Well, if I don't wash your feet, then you'll have nothing to do with me." So he's like, "Well, fine, wash all of me then." Peter, overboard guy, Well, he goes on, and then so they go to the around the table, and he breaks the bread and pours the wine. He's serving them. So he starts off by washing their feet, and then he goes into serving them instead of him being served. So then at that point, he gives this mandate, this mandatum, this commandment. It's found in John chapter 13, verse 34. "So now I am giving you a new commandment. Love each other just as I have loved you. You should love each other." That's the commandment. You think about the last words of any person. Those are pretty important. We want to make them important, right? And these are some of Jesus' final words and this final commandment, to love one another. Why is that so important? Well, we think just on the surface, loving people is important, right? Well, he gives us the reason in verse 35. "Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples." Your love will prove. That's important. The love for each other shows the world that we are followers of Christ. It's not necessarily our church attendance, although that's good. It's not necessarily how many Bible scriptures we can memorize, or how good we are at Bibleopoly or anything like that. What really proves our who we follow is our love for one another. And so I want to encourage you, love one another and follow Christ's example. Serve one another. It's not just about saying it, but as what Christ did by washing the disciples' feet, by serving them the bread and the wine, and ultimately what he did on the cross, shows how much we love one another. So that's the challenge. Love one another just as Christ loved us. Have a great day.